This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Today on CityCast Boise, love them or hate them, bike bars have become a downtown staple. Personally, I'm kind of skeptical, but maybe it's because I've never pedaled my way around with 14 other drinking buddies. So today, we're sharing a relevant chat I had 2 summers ago with Pedals and Pints driver Camden Gallagher. I have to admit, he has a good argument for why we all should jump on the bike bar bandwagon. It's Tuesday, June 11th. I'm Frankie Barnhill in for Lindsay Van Allen, and this is what Boise's talking about. For someone who's not familiar with a bike bar, can you describe what it is? Like, what makes it a bike bar?
So a bike bar, it's an experience where you can get 12 to 15 of your closest friends or strangers and put them on this moving bus sort of bike bar / thing, whatever you want to call it. And you're going from bar to bar, just like engaging in conversation and listening to music, singing, dancing,
partying.
I guess so. Pretty much. It's just a great way to get people together. For people that have not seen Boise, it's a great way to see Boise. But you still get your exercise in with pedaling.
Is it all pedal powered?
So we do have an engine assist that gets us from point A to point B when there's no one on it. But when there's 15 people on a bike bar, that engine cannot power the bike. So
Sure.
It's a lot of weight on the bike bar. So yes, it is all pedal powered when there are max people on it. But when everyone's working together, it's very easy to pedal. There's a lot of people that complain about it, but that's when there's only like 3 people pedaling. So.
Well, I was going to ask, like, how many people do you need to have on it to really make it be an enjoyable ride? I would imagine there's kind of a minimum number.
Yeah, we have a minimum. You have to have 10 on the big bikes, but we do have smaller bikes as well. We have a 6-person bike and a 4-person bike. But for the big bikes, it's more of like a group experience, and minimum is 10 because there are 10 pedal seats and then there are 5 seats without pedals.
Okay. Well, I'd love to get to know you a little bit and your story of how you got into this. How did you become a driver?
I remember as a kid, I would always see these bike bars and be like, wow, I want to go on one, and it looked so much fun. But the year that I turned 21, they canceled them. It was that COVID year. There was a lot of rules with the city and everything. So I was just like super, super sad. I was like, dang, like I've been wanting to go on these for so long. And then they just get canceled right when I turned 21. But I was following them on Instagram, and then out of nowhere, they just posted on a story and they were like, oh, we're looking for drivers, like send in your application. And I sent in my application, got a call from the boss, and then asked me to come meet him. I met him. And then from that day on, we just connected, and he's put a lot of trust in myself and our employees. So it's been a pretty cool experience so far.
So you wanted to go on as a participant, as somebody who would get to go hang out and have fun on one of these. Then you ended up becoming a driver. I assume, were you able to go on pretty soon after? Have you been on them as a participant now? What do you call them? As a rider? What do you
Yeah, I guess just a rider.
Okay.
I've only ever been on one.
Really?
As a rider. And it was actually after I had already driven like 100 bike bars. And we ended up doing a promo shoot for the company where it was just the employees and a few of our friends that got to actually go on the bike bar. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually super fun. Like, I understand why people love doing these because, I mean, it's just for an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're kind of like the center of attention downtown Boise, and you're just pedaling, listening to music, singing, going from bar to bar. And it was a cool experience. So I was just like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I get that now, why people want to do it.
Okay, well, so if you do one of these bike bars in downtown, you said it, you're the center of attention because everybody knows when a bike bar is coming down the street. You hear it first, and then you see it. It's coming. Hey, woo! And I guess that's just one question I have is like the woo woo. Does everybody woo? Is it just a thing you get on the bike bar and you can't help but let out a woo woo? Because that's what you hear all the time, right?
It's how it is. I know for Boise alone, it's just Boise's such a welcoming city. I've heard from so many people that aren't from here that are like, everyone's so nice here. But I feel like that's just part of the city. Like people on the street will take out their phone and record and wave and they'll scream back and they'll dance to the music. So I feel like it has to do with the culture a little bit because people just feel welcome here.
We woo because we're welcoming. We're friendly. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just something once you're pedaling and you're just getting a little workout in, everyone lets out a scream every now and then.
Okay. How fast did you say that the bikes go? About 5 miles per hour?
That obviously depends on the hill that we're going up or down. Like going up Capitol in a car, you wouldn't recognize it, but being on a bike bar, it's all uphill.
It is a hill.
Yeah,
totally.
Going up like that, it's like maybe like you're going maybe top speed 5 miles an hour. But there's other places downtown where if everyone's pedaling, you can get that thing up to like, I know this doesn't sound like much, but it's like 12 miles an hour.
Okay. Who's the crowd? Is it a mix of, you kind of mentioned like, oh, people maybe coming in from out of town or tourists? Is it locals? What's the breakdown?
Honestly, it is something new every weekend and it's awesome. We have people from out of state, out of country. I had a whole group last summer that they were all from this island called Saipan. I couldn't even tell you where it was, but they were all from there. Just people come from all over the world to see Boise and then they get to see this bike bar thing and they're like, oh, let's try it out. And then they have a blast and I've gotten lucky, I'd say. I've had great people on my bike bar. And yeah, it's such a wide variety of people that come on.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
So why do you think, you mentioned this a little bit earlier about how people are so friendly and woo-woo back and dance on the streets with the bike bars as they go by, but why do you think Boise's so into these? Like what about Boise and bike bars?
I just think it's such a fun, creative way to get around town. And I don't know, I guess people just love the act of singing and dancing and jamming out to music while they're getting taken to a bar.
I mean, okay, so I'll lay my cards out, Camden. I've never been on one. I don't have plans to go on one. Okay. And I hear the woo woo. I hear Katy Perry or whatever blasting from the bike bar. And generally speaking, I kind of ignore it. Sometimes I do get annoyed.
Yeah.
Mostly I'm like, oh, whatever. People are having fun. It's not my fun though. Like that is for other folks to enjoy, and I'm happy for them. Not for me.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Should I try it? Why should I try it? Try to change my mind.
I personally think that if you got like, say, your work group,
okay,
like if you have a
CityCast Boise team, okay,
yeah, if you have like a tight knit group that wants to do a team building exercise, I personally think it's such a great way to bond. Even if you have people on your team that aren't as close with each other, it's such a great way to get everyone to just be on the same page. I think there's so many opportunities for making new friends and meeting new people, or just bringing your team together and just discussing things that maybe don't want to be discussed about at work. You take the work out of it and just put, a nice group together. I think you might enjoy it more than you think, because I was the same way. I drove over 100 of them, and over a summer, you do get a little burnt out as a driver
I
because
can
everyone's
imagine.
having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I swear to God, it took me over 100 ones, and then I finally went on my first one, and I was just like, okay, this makes sense. Like, I get why people like doing this, because I wasn't driving. I got to actually just be a customer for once. So it's a very cool experience. And I think that it would be a great team bonding experience for just your city cast, Boise.
Okay, well,
I mean, it might not hurt to just talk about it and see what people think,
we have talked about it. We have talked about it in many a team meeting, and I think it's inevitable that it will happen at some point. So
just request me as the driver. I'll give you a good time.
Of course, Camden. We're coming to you, number one. I mean, you said that age doesn't matter, but I'm like, I feel like young people mostly, right? I'm too old, mid-30s.
If I'm being honest,
yeah.
Hopefully we don't have a lot of young listeners. But us drivers, we have 3 to 4 bikes for our company alone. So on a Saturday night, there'll be like 3 bike bars at the same time. So we'll all be parked in the same spot, and then the groups will all come meet there, and they kind of get to just like choose which one they want, right? But us drivers, we prefer the older groups. Not saying that you're old, but we prefer them 100% more. We see a group of sorority girls and a group of, like older people in their 30s, 40s. We're like, we want those people on our bike.
Why? Tell me why.
It's just better conversation, more mature, more experience,
better music taste,
more responsible. Like I before working this job, I had no idea. I did not know any of the words to this one Cardi B song.
Okay.
And it's a horrible song. But now that I've been working here, I know almost every word. It's just like something like that, where it's just like people play the music so much and you're just like, okay, like I've heard this so many times. But I've had grandmas on the bike bar that love it, and they're just party animals. It's kind of fun to see. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a certain age group at all.
Okay, good to know. Age, not a limiting factor by any means. You mentioned a Cardi B song that you have heard too many times, it sounds like. Is there a song that you hear that you're like, yes, thank you for playing this song? What is it?
Well, there's probably like 3 songs. It's probably there's 2 ABBA songs, like Gimme Gimme and Dancing Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love when someone plays Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those are the best because I'll sing along to them. And it's just something where like a group will play that, and people on the sidewalks you'll see them singing, you'll see them dancing. Because like those are type of songs where you can't be mad that those are on.
Right. Right.
Like I understand when people
playing the hits.
They hear just like like you said, just like the bad other songs that come on, like the rap songs. But when something like that comes on, it just kind of brings up the mood in downtown, and you see other people singing, and it's just kind of always a hit.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably put some rap on my playlist if I were to go on to the bike bar, but it would be specific artists, specific songs for sure. Yeah, fair enough. What do you think about have you ever had anybody like on the sidewalk be like, "Can I join?" and they like jump on? Has that ever happened?
Yes. It happens a lot. What I try to tell people is that a lot of times there's a group, and it's after their second or third bar, they're a little hydrated, so they're more open to strangers. But I try to tell them, I'm like, look, like when you invite someone on here, they love it, and they don't really know their boundaries. Like they don't know when to get off. So a lot of times when like people invite some stranger on the street, they kind of overstay their welcome. So I try to tell them, I'm like, look, like it's fun to invite people on, but after 20 minutes of this stranger you invited on just sitting there, like being a stranger, it's not as fun anymore. So it's just like, I always tell people, I'm like, if your group is super open and like you're good at making conversation, go for it.
Okay. You've never had to like, make someone get off the bike bar? That it hasn't come to that point?
No, I've never had to do that. Usually when I ask, they're pretty like understanding.
Okay. What has been something that's like really stuck out to you that's happened on a bike bar? Like I imagine, has a proposal ever happened in front of you in your hundreds of rides, or has someone gotten fired by their boss who took them on the bike bar? Like what's gone down? Tell us, Camden.
I personally have I hope that no one ever proposes on the bike bar because there's so many better places you can do that. Best ones that I can remember are when a group will come on and about 90% of them don't even know they know each other. You know, it's like they're just like, oh, here they're shaking hands, they're introducing themselves. Hi, my name's this. Hi, my name's that. Like, oh, how do you know this person? And so they're strangers at the start, and then after their bike bar is over, it's like they're best friends. So like when meeting someone on a bike bar, you can meet your best friend, you can meet your future girlfriend, future wife. Like it opens the doors to so many opportunities.
Okay, Camden, before we wrap up, what if you are going to be actually enjoying a bike bar instead of being the driver, where do you go? What's like your favorite preferred route? Where do you stop?
My first stop would be to Sid's Garage. They have these delicious adult Capri Suns.
Oh, I have tried those. Yeah.
Oh, very, very good.
Yeah.
So,
it literally looks like a Capri Sun that's alcoholic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also do have this home wrecker shot. It's like a bike. They call it the bike bar shot. It's like this yummy huckleberry sake wine. So that's super good too. And then I would go down 9th Street and I would stop at Liquid Lounge. They have a very open bar with some games, some photo booth things, and then they have some also yummy custom drinks. And then I would drive up Capitol.
Okay.
And I would go probably to Silly Birch and then wrap around to the Capitol. And then probably last stop would be, for me, 10th Street Station.
Classic.
It's kind of, it's an underground little chill bar. And it's like nothing crazy, but they got free popcorn. So, it's just like a nice little easy stroll.
Camden, thanks so much for chatting. It was really fun.
Yes, of course. I've had a blast talking with you all about this stuff. It's been a good time.
Okay, that's all for today here on CityCast Boise. If you dig the show, please leave us a review. It helps other locals find us. We'll be back tomorrow morning with your definitive guide to drag brunch this Pride Month. See you then.